Welcome to What Are You Reading, a podcast with the Public Library of Mount Vernon in Knox County. I'm Christy.
And I'm Katie.
And today we're joined by special guest Zinnia.
Hello.
She works for Circulation Department, so if you come in the doors, you might happen to see her. And we asked her to be our special guest today because we're discussing manga. And we know that Zinnia is a great fan of manga, and she's actually gotten us into a lot of manga. So we're appreciative of that. And definitely helped with our collection, and with Cassandra, who orders our manga and everything, has definitely helped her along the way to ordering all kinds of great new things. So we thought she's the perfect person to kind of introduce you guys to manga too. So our first question was, to somebody that's never experienced this, what is manga?
Of course. So I guess a basic way to explain it is that manga are Japanese comics that are often read from right to left, just because that's how Japanese is often written. They're translated works, and they have a really strong industry in Japan. They're very, very popular.
Okay. Yeah, that was something that took me a moment to realize that I needed to read it like this, because we're so used to starting like this, but we're going to start here.
Yeah. And there are a lot of the manga that I've read have a little thing, so if you try to read it like the Western way, it'll be like, wait, this is the wrong page. You need to read it the other way.
Totally. Wait, stop.
I don't think these do. But
these.
But they do have advertisements in the back as well.
They do, so that you might see something for another one, like this is a silent voice or something like that, and you're thinking, well, wait, that's not what I picked up. Well, there's good reason for that.
Yeah. So the series that Zinnia is going to tell us about is called Witch Hat Atelier. Haha, French class. So, why would you say that a novice manga reader would enjoy reading Witch Hat Atelier?
Okay, so I would have to say one thing that, of course, is really striking in the beginning is the beautiful, more Western-inspired art style. Along with that, I would say as far as the framing goes, like the way that the panels are laid out, it's a really easy to follow manga visually, especially for someone who's not used to reading what they would consider backwards. Along with that, I would have to say the story is extremely gripping, the characters are really enjoyable, there's just a lot of things to love about this series.
Okay.
I did flip through it, and because I wanted to get a background, so I wanted to make sure that I kind of knew what I was talking about. And I did enjoy that we started out with a couple color pages. Is that something you see a lot in manga, like where you have like some color pages?
So generally when they're introducing the beginning of a volume, they will have some color pages as so I guess getting into a bit more background, in Japan, manga is published individually by chapter in magazines that have a bunch of chapters from many different manga. So people can just like pick that off the shelf and just read a bunch of different series.
Oh, that's cool.
And so often series will have a color page for their first like chapter to kind of grab someone's attention and to have it as a showcase to get someone interested in a new series.
Okay. And I will say that it definitely worked, because it was so, just to give you guys a little sneak peek, there's this beautiful page here, I'm going to show you guys too, that I thought, right off the bat, I'm going to really like this. And you'll be surprised about like how fast these really go, because, you've got illustration. So you're reading these so fast. Which gets us into a little bit more of the questions about Witch Hat Atelier specifically. So what other books did this kind of remind you of? So we're trying to kind of compare it to something that you might, our audience might know too.
Yeah, so two books kind of came to mind for that question. One was House on the Cerulean Sea.
Okay.
And so it is about an orphanage, and a lot of the relationships in this book, since it's about a young girl who has a teacher and is becoming a witch, remind me of the relationships in that book. like a really wholesome found family type of
Okay.
environment. And then I'd say another probably more popular comparison would be Harry Potter, and the fact that the main character is someone who is not kind of in the magical world, but ends up being introduced to it and has to be like educated and learn about this magical world. One thing that is a bit different is that Coco, the main character, isn't a chosen one.
Okay. I did notice that, so to just kind of give you guys a little bit of idea, we have a little girl named Coco who, her mother is an atelier, like works as an atelier, right? So she's creating, there's costumes and clothing, and Coco can cut perfectly. She can cut a straight line. Her measuring is perfect and spot on, and she really impresses someone who happens to be magical that has stopped by the atelier. That's kind of what I was getting from like an early, introduction. So she cuts him some cloth and he's so impressed with her. And she explains that she knows about magic because being a little girl, her mother took her to the castle for a party or a festival. And she stopped by a street vendor who offered to sell her a picture book about magic. So she has a little bit of an idea of what magic is, and they live in a world where magic exists. But she herself doesn't have any to begin with, is what it seemed like.
Yeah. Do you want me to give a quick summary?
Sure. Let's not be into it. But we're not going to do spoilers, we promise.
Yeah, no spoilers. I
Yes.
think this little synopsis only covers like the first chapter.
Okay.
So I did make sure to put it ahead.
Yay! We prepped her.
So the main character is a young girl named Coco. She grew up fascinated by magic, but was always told that one must be born a witch to use magic. Well, one day after a chance opportunity to spy on a witch casting spells, she figures out how to use a suspicious spell book she obtained at a festival and accidentally turns her mother to stone. Once she is discovered, she is taken in by a teacher and becomes an apprentice with the hope of freeing her mother as well as finding the strange witches who gave her the spellbook long ago.
Ooh, exciting. Yes.
So is this series finished?
It is not.
It is not.
Okay.
Okay, so there are 11 volumes, you said, so far?
There are 11 volumes out right now, and I think volume 12 comes out next month.
Okay.
Or actually, this month.
Okay.
It's already May.
It's May.
So you can get in on the ground floor and read the next one as soon as we get it in.
Yeah, absolutely. Which characters in the book did you like the best?
That's definitely a hard one since I feel like there are so many great characters in this, but I would have to say Kifri. He's actually showcased on book 3, and he is kind of the teacher figure to Coco and the other young witches that he teaches. He's, like I said, a father figure. He has a really intriguing past that's a little bit tangled up with the villain, so I think that makes him a really interesting character, and I look forward to see how he plays a part in the plot in future volumes.
Okay, that's exciting. I know these covers are stunning.
Yes.
I mean, this is Coco here on this cover, so. And Zinnia actually brought in her personal copies as well, so these are so pretty.
Yes, even flipping through, we were like, we really like this guy. We want to know more about him.
Yeah, absolutely. We were like, so what's his deal?
So, kind of piggybacking off that question, are there any that you would want to meet in real life?
So part of me does want to say Kifri just because he's my favorite character. That would kind of imply that. But there are these really, really cute creatures in this world called brush buddies. They're like these long, fluffy creatures that are attracted to magic, and I think that they are absolutely adorable, and I would love to cuddle one.
Oh, cool.
That's so fun. Oh.
Do you think they're kind of like soot sprites from the
Spirited Away?
Spirited Away, etc.?
I would say similar in like the cute factor, just a little bit more long.
Yeah. If you took a soot sprite and stretched him out.
All the fun characters that you meet in these like more magical settings. I love that. It's so exciting and it's so cute. Like, you know, we tend to read a lot of like heavier stuff or like darker stuff or so sometimes it's really fun to go somewhere that has some really just like cute aspects.
Yeah, I can agree with that, though I will say for those who do want a series that does tackle a bit like darker or more gray morality issues, this series does cover that as well.
Does it get a little darker?
It does.
Okay. So you kind of, very Harry Potter, right? Or you kind of age into some more serious, does she like age into some more serious things or does the timeline happen pretty quickly?
So far, it seems like it happens pretty quickly. I haven't noticed any like huge age gap from the beginning to where the series is now. It's more so with the villains specifically. It seems from their perspective they truly think that they're doing something good. But from the good guy's perspective, it obviously they think they're doing something good. And Coco's role in that story is to kind of parse through truly what's going on and who's good and who's not.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Makes me want to read more of it because I did just pick it up recently and I thought I'm going to give this a try because again, it's been a little dark. Need to get out of that. And I definitely want to keep going and see like how this progresses and I want to learn about all the magic too. And we did talk about the book covers and do you think that they do like a really good job of like conveying what to expect from the series?
I would definitely say so. I'd say they're best at conveying the art style as well as showcasing the characters, which I feel is a more common aspect of manga compared to novels. Since novels generally have 1 to 3 covers to display what the story is about, while with manga, I find that they're often displaying characters and settings just because with more volumes they have the ability to do that.
Yeah, and I do think that it's kind of important to know what that style is going to be because there have been some that they just haven't been visually appealing to me. And that did distract from me wanting to continue with it, unfortunately, which is fine. But when you see a style that you really enjoy, it's makes it even that much better. And it makes it go fast too. If you could hear this same story from another person's point of view, which character do you think you would choose?
So I would have to choose a character that we aren't introduced to, I think, until volume 3, maybe 4.
Okay.
But they're a character that starts out as a neutral party, but they are kind of inducted into the group of villains, and I would love to see more from his perspective how that ends up happening and what his thought process was as he transitioned from a neutral party to someone on the other side.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever get spinoffs like that, say in manga, like where there's a character super popular and they go off with that person?
Well, I would say just because of the length of manga, generally it is addressed in the story.
Okay.
Because a lot of manga aren't just from one person's perspective. They often jump to other characters and other events, kind of like high fantasy does. So I feel like it's likely going to be addressed in the future, especially since that character is on the cover of Volume 12. Or actually, Volume 13.
Oh, okay.
So I'm pretty sure it will be addressed.
Okay.
It just hasn't yet.
That's exciting. Well, I can't wait. I'm definitely going to get into these, and I'm so glad that we were able to purchase them for the library. So, stop in. You can check these out. Get started on manga. If you have any questions, please come up to us. We love to chat with our patrons, and Zennia's here as well. So, we're happy to answer any questions, get you started, help you pick out something that we know that you'll love.
Yes, because manga is a lot like novels in that there are many different flavors, many different styles. So chances are good we have a series that you will enjoy.
Absolutely. And we do have some bigger titles that are really popular that might have an anime that goes with them. So, and that's a whole nother episode of the podcast. Like, we would not have time.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you, Zinnia, for joining us. We're always excited to have people on our podcast and let us know about manga. So thank you.
No
Yes,
problem.
thank
I'm glad
you.
I could help.
Yay. All right, guys. Well, join us next month. In June, we'll be celebrating our summer reading program. So we're going to have a lot to look forward to then, and we'll catch you then. Bye.
Bye.